Hey guys, Matthew here, and today I'll be bringing you guys the start of a new series. And this series, while I haven't really found a name for it yet, is going to be very short videos, or at least, as always, that's what I'm going to try to make them out to be. And the idea behind this series is that I'm just going to be introducing a bunch of different methods of making currency. They're going to be introduction videos, so we're not going to go extremely in depth. And I'm going to go ahead and explain what I did for each of the specific methods, where most of the currency comes from, and that's going to be that. So basically, the goal is to just introduce you guys to a bunch of different currency farming methods. I know a lot of people come to ask me to my stream or even in my comment section, how do you make currency? How do you do this? How do you do that? Like, what's the best way to make currency? Or like those questions I get all the time. So my goal is to just show a bunch of different methods, and then you guys can see the kind of results that you can expect, and knowing what kind of playstyle you enjoy the most or what you like doing the most in Path of Exile, you can choose based on your preference of either this is kind of the stuff I like to do, or this is what I want to do because it seems to be the most profitable. So these tests are basically being conducted on a daily basis kind of thing, so one test per day, and I'm giving myself a timeline of 6 hours. That's basically what we're doing. So yesterday we spent 6 hours doing the first thing, which was Blighted Maps. So I ran all T14 plus Blighted Maps. There was no real reason for that. You only need to be doing T13 and above to be able to drop golden oils, as well as obviously higher tier bases and stuff like that. So you do want to be running map tier 13 and above. 14, there's no real reason to. 15, 16 either. As you go higher level, the maps are more expensive. So if you want to stick to the cheapest possible tier that can drop you the golden oil, which is pretty much the oil worth the most, that is going to be T13s, and those are going to be about 26, 27 chaos. I ran about 30 of them, I want to say, in the 6 hour period, because I was running them about once every 20 minutes or so. Or not quite, once every 15 minutes or so, probably about 4 per hour. And I did for 6 hours, so no, probably about 24, 25 actually. And the result is that we made 21 Exalts. Now, this was not pure profit because we had to spend 6 Exalts initially to buy all those maps. And we also had to start off with some Chisels. I started with 120 of them, which is only worth 40 chaos. And I also started with some essences, some teal oils here, and I started with 60 of them. As you can see, we over-sustained the teals. So you will be sustaining teal oils easily. I did not pick up anything under teal oils because honestly, teals, azure, indigo are all like 2 per chaos. So they're not really worth doing anything with. You pretty much just want to either keep them to sell them in bulk to other people running the maps or something, or upgrade them into the higher tier essences. What I did is I pretty much upgraded all the indigo and violet that I did have into crimson. I sold the crimson for 2C each. I sold the black oils for 2.5C each. I sold the opalescents for 7C each. The silver oils were anywhere between 18 and 22C each, I believe. And the golden oils were anywhere from 50 to 60 or so. So the actual profit that we made from farming these Blighted Maps was about 14 Exalt profit in 6 hours. Now, I did give myself a 1 hour extra to actually actually sell stuff. So I considered that the actual time spent, decluttering my whole stash tab after just dumping everything in there was about 7 hours total spent, and we made a profit of 14 Exalt. So very simple math, 2 Exalt per hour, pure profit. Do I consider that to be incredibly good? No. Do I think it's worth doing? Sure. Especially if you're playing a build that can do them while you do other things. So for example, if you're playing a build that can AFK, like minion builds, you can literally just sit in the middle and AFK, let your minions do things after putting down a few towers. And that will do just fine. So you could, watch some YouTube videos, watch some streams, watch some Netflix or something. So that's some ways to increase efficiency. Now, if we're talking about what I did, which was actually active, like playing, it's questionable. I mean, you don't get an insane amount of gem XP either. And you do run the maps white because there is no reason to run the maps because the quantity doesn't really affect the league-specific chests. So the only thing that quantity would affect on your map is the explosion of your actual pump when you do end and finish the map. The only problem with that is that that's a very, very small portion of the actual loot. So, talking about the most expensive job that we got in this 6 hours of actual farming was a level 21-23 quality Toxic Rain, which we sold for 2 Exalts. That is the only job that we had which was worth over 1 Exalts. The next most expensive thing, I believe, was just the Golden Oils themselves. We were running these at pretty high efficiency. I was on a pretty strict filter, so typically I was getting out on the map with about half an inventory worth of things, so I didn't have to come out and go back in or anything like that. So we were going pretty quick, and there was not much downtime. That being said, we did have to buy some maps every once in a while when we ran out, but I would say that 2x per hour is probably about what you can expect. Now, in terms of currency, basically where most of the currency came from, a lot of it came from the oils. We dropped quite a few silver oils, a lot of opalescence, almost 20 of them actually. So almost once every map. Golden oils, we only dropped 3. I think that might be a little bit under average, but those were selling for about 50-60 C, and Exalts being less than 100 chaos, about 83 at the moment, but 90 yesterday when I was doing this. It did add up fairly well. Otherwise, we got lots of random stuff. So tons of essences. So the way I priced things when it comes to the essences is that any essence that was worth below 3 chaos, I pretty much considered as not worth anything. So while it is 2 exalt per hour, it is actually a little bit more because, as I'm about to explain, there's a lot of things that I left out. So from the essences, I left out, as I said, any essences that was worth less than 3 chaos. From the fossils, I pretty much priced every single fossil because they sell extremely easily, except the ones that sell for like 0.5 chaos. Those ones I pretty much ignored for the most part, so didn't really have to worry about that. As for deliriums, you don't really get any delirium rewards. I don't think you really get any metamorph rewards from doing it either, because Blight League was prior to those, so I guess they never implemented rewards or something. Or maybe I did get some and I literally don't remember. From the maps, any map that was below tier 13, which is where maps start selling at about 4 to 5 chaos each, I pretty much entirely ignored the price of maps. So we didn't get that many maps. We did get a fair bit of the lower end ones, so like T11, 12, 13s. We got a fair bit of those, but again, anything below 3 to 4 chaos I did not count in the actual maps. Fragments. I considered all the sacrifice fragments that dropped at about 1 chaos each, or actually at exactly 1 chaos each, because that is the price that I expect to sell them to delvers, and we got a decent amount, about 70 of them total. You probably get about 1 chest that is dedicated to sacrifice fragments about every run, pretty much. We did not get too much in terms of a breachstone or splinters. We got like 2 Zoth Breach and a couple other ones, but nothing really spectacular there. That was a very minimal part of our profit. A decent amount of profit actually came from scarabs, a bunch of random scarabs. Again, for scarabs, any scarab that was worth below 2 chaos, I actually did not consider. Any scarab that was 2 chaos, I considered at 1 chaos, and any scarab that was 4 chaos and above, I considered at basically the amount they were worth, -1 or -2 chaos. So everything that I basically, everything that I was estimating downwards to try to get results that were, as you could say, easily to replicate as possible, so that if somebody was to do the exact same test as me and the price of certain items has gone down, you would actually still end up making that 2 exalt per hour if you were to consider everything, which I did not do. Div cards, we did the same. We had a lot of div cards, lots and lots of div cards, and anything below 2 chaos I did not consider. And again, anything that was like 2 chaos and above, I removed some portion of the price to make up for, you know, when you would be doing it and being able to replicate the same results. And that was pretty much it. There's one more thing that was dropping a lot, and that was stacked decks. We dropped 180 stacked decks. The only problem is this league stacked decks are 1 chaos each, so that is pretty boring. We ended up considering them at 1 chaos each, and I actually ended up opening them all, and I got 9 DC back from that 180. So I lost half my money, but that is to be expected on stacked decks. So, if I was to actually consider every single bit of loot, this would probably amount to about 24 maybe-ish exalts, which at that point would probably be around the 2.2-ish or so exalt per hour range. So, not crazy in my opinion. That's pretty much my conclusion. It's not amazing, but it's definitely not worth doing. So if you do come by some Blighted Maps and you are wondering whether you should sell them or run them, chances are you will make profit while running them every single time. There is some variance, and if you run only 1 or 2 maps, you could easily get nothing back for them. But a single half-decent drop, and that can make up for the price of quite a few maps. And that is basically my conclusion on Blighted Maps and the initial test that we did with them yesterday. Today we'll be doing simulacrums, 6 hours of simulacrums, and you'll have a video tomorrow about the results of 6 hours of simulacrums. This build is capable of doing all the way up to wave 20 Kosis, so we are not going to struggle with that. On that note, though, I want to say a huge thank you to my supporters: Mario, Luro, Gaikona, Kfish, Dr. Radu, Scott, Zerashi, Kevin, Casticus, Matus, Dieselboy, and Dan S. Huge thank you to you guys. Appreciate the support. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and the series. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.